Welcome, everyone, to our first ever podcast episode for Means to Ascend. My name is Lindsay Amico, and I am here with Lindsay Zajac. This is our first ever podcast, and we're really excited to see where it goes. The intention is to talk about the things that we love to talk about, the things that we're passionate about, and know that when we really apply them to our lives, we become better leaders, we become more effective, we get more exciting results. So today's goal is to introduce ourselves, talk more about our company Ascendant, as well as talk about progress over perfection, because we are both recovering perfectionists.
Yes. So excited to be here. So glad we're kicking off this podcast. It's been something we've been thinking about and talking about for a while. So we're learning as we go and excited for the journey. So, I can introduce myself. My name is Lindsay Zajac, and I'm the owner and CEO of Ascendant. I first met Lindsay Amico at a Buffalo Niagara sales and marketing executives event. We were both solopreneurs. This was like pre-COVID, and got to know each other. We had very similar kind of mindsets and business models, both trying to help people, doing a lot of one-on-one coaching. And when I was in a position to bring some people on board, when I took over the business, I was, Lindsay was high on my list, one of the first people I hired. And so happy to have you on the team, and so happy we can collab like this now. My background has always been sort of recruiting, human resources, coaching and training. I love working with people. I love helping people in their careers. I love, seeing people grow and develop. That's really what gets me motivated.
Yeah, I know. I feel like we had very similar reasons why we both got into coaching, like kind of this pure interest because we both are fascinated with psychology, but also the genuine desire to help people.
Yeah, I think that's so true. I mean, I didn't really want to be a psychologist, but I always wanted to help other people. I was dabbling with like, is that social work? What kind of help is that? And I think I've always been that person that loves like the professional development, self-help section of a bookstore. I'm always trying to learn. I'm always listening to podcasts. It just doesn't feel like work to me. It feels fun and interesting. And I kind of geek out about that stuff.
Yeah,
So
me
yeah, I
too.
think you and I both, like a lot of what we help people with, we've gone through ourselves and we've worked on, or we've, been spending time researching and getting better at, and we just want to pay that forward.
Yeah. No, exactly. And it is so funny how we end up taking the things that serve us and really fuse it into our careers. I know not every single person does that. I feel lucky that I've had the opportunity to do that because I feel like I've always been really interested in reducing my own stress and anxiety, helping myself to really self-regulate as someone that is more anxious, helping myself to be, living the life that I want to live and to be a more successful version of myself. And then when I heard about this coaching profession, I was like,
Mhm.
whoa, that was
Yes.
amazing. And
Yes.
it was, like, too good to be true. I don't know if you felt similarly. Well, your dad was in coaching, so
Mhm.
probably not.
Mhm. No, I mean, in 98, he started a leadership development business, and a lot of that was management consulting and some one-on-one coaching. But yeah, I saw from, early teens, the impact he was making. And he would always say, this isn't work for me. This is fun. Like, this is me just going out and being passionate about what I do and getting to earn a living that way. So it is really cool. I think that kind of goes back to the ikigai concept that we've always
Mhm.
teach people and talk about. When you feel like what you're good at, what you enjoy doing, what you can get paid to do, and what the world needs, when those come together, that's just the secret sauce, and it doesn't feel like work.
No, and it can sound, especially to our listeners who may not be in that sweet spot at the moment, it can sound a little corny, but
Yeah.
truly, and I know I'm speaking for you as well, we both feel like we are fully in that sweet
Mhm.
spot of the ikigai of what we love to do, what the world needs, what we can be paid for, what we can be paid for, and I think for me as a career coach, that's the goal that I have for most of my clients. And I
Yes.
always say, if it's not the full-time job, that's okay. Maybe we're moving in that direction.
Right.
Maybe we're doing our side hustle. Maybe we're exploring a new hobby. Maybe we were there and now our life is shifting in some way, shape, or form
Yes.
because we, need a different thing at the moment. And it's okay to shift. Like I used to think, "Oh, now I'm here and now I'm going to stay here and the rest of my life is going to be perfect." And that's not really realistic. We ride the
Yeah.
waves.
Yeah, your values and your needs are gonna change based on the seasons of life you're in. I was teaching a class today to our career transition candidates, and it's really identifying, taking time to think about what matters most to me right now. What do I value? Is it, money, and is it, career growth and the higher titles and the more responsibility, or is it more balance, more flexibility, more impact? Is this a stage in your career where you can take a little bit of a step back and that affords you the flexibility to start the side hustle or to start the hobby that you used to love that now you have time to get back into? And there's no right or wrong answers. It's all just choices, and it's just got to be aligned with what you value.
Yeah. And it's also this feeling too of it's okay to make a wrong choice. There's not really a wrong choice. Like you said,
Right.
if you're doing your best in this moment to align with your values and align with your intuition and trusting yourself, you're not going to make a wrong choice because it's leading you to more growth. And
100%.
that's what life's about. So it's evolving, it's growth, it's experience, it's mistakes. So yeah, as you can tell, we're
Mm.
both very into this topic. Um so now backing up a second, my role at Ascendant is I am a career coach. I'm the director of talent solutions. I do a lot around stress reduction. I do a lot around helping people that are looking for new jobs, that are seeking a career transition or happen to be in a career transition, learning how to navigate this at times, I would say, funky job market. And there's different answers every day. So that's why the stress reduction piece is like highly important because this is very disruptive. How we earn a living is very important. So when
Mm.
that's disrupted, when we're figuring it out, there's a lot to consider. So I really enjoy what I do, and then I fuse a lot of leadership development into that as well. And then Lindsay, I'll let you go ahead and kind of explain your role at Ascendant as well as what Ascendant really is.
Yeah, absolutely. So, as I mentioned, I'm the owner and CEO. We call ourselves a talent solutions firm, and a lot of people don't know what that means. They think we're like a modeling agency or talent, like models or actors or things like that. Talent solutions really means your people. So, if you think of an organization, your people are your talent, right? They're the people that, your biggest asset. They make things happen. They get the work done. So we are going to help you throughout that phase. If you need to hire the right people, you need to find that tough to fill role and you can't quite find the right person, we can help with recruiting. If you need to train, coach, mentor, develop your people so that they can be future leaders, or maybe they want to just improve their professional skills, and we can come in and help you do that. It's a huge part of our business. And then lastly, career transition is something that impacts just about every industry, just about every company. Maybe it's a one off, somebody wasn't a good fit for the organization. Or it could be, your business was acquired and now you have some redundancies and you need to get rid of a whole department, or you need to do a reduction in force or a layoff. They're never, fun or easy, but there's a better way to do them. And that's where we come in and we really help your people on their way out of the organization. So you're taking care of them by helping them get back on their feet quickly. whether that's, resumes, LinkedIn, interview prep, how to navigate the job boards. A lot has changed in the past 5, 10 years. And if that's all new to you, this can be a super overwhelming time. So we come in and we help you navigate your career journey and find your next position.
Yep.
So all of those things I have, intimate experience with. And I just love feeling like I can help people every day.
Yeah. And I think that's the goal for this podcast as well is how are we sharing the things that are helping us in our day to day as human beings trying to navigate life? How can we bring that here so we can help you, whether you're in the middle of a job search, whether you're reconsidering your career perhaps and thinking about what you want to do. Maybe you're nearing retirement. We also offer retirement coaching, which
Mhm.
is fantastic. So if you're thinking, okay, in the next 5 to 10 years, I want to retire, how do I make sure I'm still living my best life? How do I make sure I'm fulfilled? How do I make sure I'm still living with purpose? How do I prepare my family? All that good stuff. So, really, at Ascendant, whether it's leadership development, whether it's career transition and assistance and outplacement services, whether it's searching for candidates or retirement, we're really there at each step of the way.
Yeah, absolutely. Well said. Yeah.
Thanks. Thanks, I try. Um, so with that being said, you know a little more about us now.
Mhm.
And now we just want to briefly talk about for our first topic that we both feel is really beneficial to us in this phase of our lives and our careers, progress over perfection. So, do you wanna start, Linz, with how
Um,
you feel like that's serving you right now,
sure.
or do you want me to start?
Why don't you start? I'll gather my thoughts. I think I know what I'm
Okay.
gonna say.
See, we're being
We're
imperfect.
working we're working through it.
Um, for me, this means that as a hu really, I didn't used to think I was a perfectionist because I felt like I wasn't perfect enough, which I think really encapsulates perfectionism in a nutshell. It's
Yeah.
like I don't even feel like I'm type A enough to be a perfectionist. That is perfectionism.
Wow. That's very well said. So would you say that anytime you think like that wasn't good enough, like when you kind of beat yourself up, whether it's about parenting or whether it's about the presentation you gave or whether it's about, whatever, how
Yep.
you decorate your house for Halloween, like it's never enough mentality, is that perfectionist voice kind of?
Yeah, I would say perfectionism is the belief that if I am perfect and if I make sure everything around me is perfect, then I am safe. So it's
Mhm.
essentially a coping mechanism that we've learned at a young age that says if I don't mess up and I am perceived as perfect, I am good and I am safe. And so yeah, it can really sneakily fuse into all areas. And really what it turned into for me was I'm not organized enough to be a
Mhm.
perfectionist. There's no way I'm a perfectionist. I don't perform at a high enough level. I wouldn't feel this way internally if I was a perfectionist. But at the end of the day, that's what perfectionism is. It's the feeling that you are never good enough. For me at least. That's
Yeah.
how I define it.
Yeah, no, I that's definitely something I struggle with, you know, all the time. And I think I'm better from a work perspective now. I'm better from a professional perspective. Like it's okay to be learning. It's okay to not know how to do this. It's okay to, feel unsure of yourself. I've kind of helped overcome some of those hurdles. Um, but I think it comes up for me still, definitely around like parenting or anything I have an
Mm,
insecurity about, it's gonna come up with, like, "That wasn't good enough." You should have
yep.
done more, you should have done it better. It's like that little voice in the back of your head that's kind of like that inner critic, and I've noticed, and I know you realize this too, but when you're stressed or you're under periods of high stress, that inner critic, the volume on it turns way up, and it's almost like you can't ever really turn it off. Like I don't know. That's
Mhm.
been my experience, and I think it's part of my brain just trying to keep me safe because I'm, on high alert, or my cortisol levels are high or something like that.
It's like if I don't forget any detail of anything, like my brain is always scanning, right? It's like,
Mhm.
what could I possibly be forgetting? I'm doing a load of laundry. What errand do I have to run? What presentation do I have coming up? When do I need to do my hair? Do I need to it's any little detail. Do I need to pick up a prescription? It's this feeling of unsafety. And at the core of it, in terms of like neuroscience, I would say the majority of us exist in this space because of course, upbringing and kind of just how our brain operates, but also because we live in an age of so much processing constantly and so much high asks
Yes.
of our families, ourselves, our social media, our careers, our households.
Mhm.
What is my brain taking in? What am I telling myself at this moment that I'm not doing enough of?
Mhm.
Even though in all other areas of my life, if someone also looks at me from the outside, they probably think I'm excelling, right?
100%, 100%. And I think it's one of those, like, the to-do list, the never-ending to-do list, and then you feel like a failure when you don't accomplish it, but the to-do list isn't feasible. Like, that's the thing, it's like you're
It's
setting
never going to
yourself
end.
up to fail. You'll never finish everything on the to-do list. So if that's your benchmark, every day you're going to bed feeling defeated, like, "I didn't do it all. I'm not good enough. I'm failing. I'm not as good as I should be." The inner critic voice comes in, and it's like, how about we get rid of some of the things on the to-do list? Or how about we
Yep.
celebrate all the things we did get done and we did accomplish? Because
Yeah.
I think that we have to reset the expectations of, like, what's reasonable in
Yes.
today's society.
I've had to reshift my mindset from everything needs to get done or I'm not good enough to kind of like that surge of dopamine that I get from checking something off to being like, wow, I got 3 things done today off of my to-do list. That's worth a celebration.
Yeah,
Because at the end of the day, there's really always going to be another day until the end of our lives when there won't be. There's always going to be another day to get more things done. And the only people that matter are ourselves and what we really think the yardstick is that we're trying to measure up against.
right,
It's if the
right.
kitchen isn't clean, okay, that might feel uncomfortable, but for me, that's how do I talk to myself about that?
Yes. Mhm. Mhm. And am I beating myself up, or am I saying, "Wow, you had a lot going on, work was hectic, you were traveling, you got a new puppy. Some things
Mhm.
are gonna fall through the cracks, and that's just okay." Embracing that.
And it's also okay, like I've been telling myself more if I feel like there's that internal dialogue of I'm not good enough, I turn it into I am neutral. Like,
Mm.
I am a neutral person. I like, the neutrality almost just turns
Mhm.
something off or
Yes.
on inside of me that says, "Oh, I don't need to beat myself up right now. Nothing's going wrong. This is a neutral human existence.
Right.
Nothing we're all making stuff up at the end of the day." And
Right.
why we're talking about this is because it's important to start to bring this into our careers because if we're bringing perfectionism in, yes, to some degree that's good because we're high achievers, right? Well, this has been good for us throughout our lives, but at some point it's maladaptive
Yep.
because we can't continue to perform at this level and then people around us start to suffer because they're not getting us at a perfect level. They're getting us at a frozen level. At
Yeah.
a
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it goes back to your motivations. Like, why are you doing this? Like, what is your why? Like, are you climbing the corporate ladder and hustling and working your ass off because you love what you do and you're passionate and it's just the most important thing in your life right now?
right.
Okay, that's a little different than I'm doing it to prove something. I'm doing it for acceptance. I'm doing it to feel better about myself. I'm doing it, so someone will love me or be, the approval I'm seeking. I think for a long time, mine was probably the misaligned. It was like striving to kind of prove to myself that I could do things and I could accomplish things and I could
Mm.
be successful. And then it got to a point where it's like, but what's it all worth if you can't enjoy your life and you can't be present with your family and your health suffers, like you're so stressed out that it's affecting your health. It's not worth it at that point, you know?
And maybe at one point, the it was necessary to prove to yourself that you could be successful because it was
Maybe.
necessary to say, "Look at the cool things that I'm doing. Look at the incredible things that I'm achieving." But then you brought the awareness in to say, "You know what? I am going to continue to achieve great things, but maybe I can do so at a rate that works for me, at a
Yeah.
pace that works for myself and my life right now."
Yeah, and I think, there's so many everyone is so different and there's so many reasons why we do things, and some of the advice I got early on in my career was work really, really hard and hustle before you have kids, because the higher you are, or like the more advanced you are in your career, the more options you'll have
Mm,
once you have kids. So that was kind of in the back of my mind too, like take the promotions, move up, do it now because it's going to be harder. It's kind of like, do you get your MBA before kids? Probably. Do you go to Europe? Because those things are harder to do once you have a family. So that
right.
was kind of pushing me a little bit. But then family comes in the mix, or your your goals change, or your motivations change, and yeah, I think just being in tune with yourself and why you're doing what you're doing. And I think for me, a big aha moment was when I started reading a lot of Brene Brown's work, a lot of
Yeah.
her books. And it was like, your productivity is not your worth. And I mean, I'm still trying to grapple with that. I conceptually know that that's true, but my body doesn't know it's true. So, like, if I'm just
Oh,
sitting on the
yeah.
couch, if I'm sitting on the couch on a Sunday doing nothing, my mind and my body is like, you need to be doing something. Like, there's
Mhm.
stuff to clean, there's stuff to pick up, there's stuff to plan for, there's stuff to get ready for, there's holidays, there's this. Like, I can't just be like rest and idle.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. And it's also just in those moments kind of having compassion for this energy is existing in my body right now. It feels really uncomfortable. I'm doing my best to rest. My body doesn't want to rest. Um, and something that's been helping me is just doing like a brain dump, so not
Yeah.
even like a to-do list, even though I love to-do lists. I think they give me the dopamine, like I said. I've come to a space where I'm okay with the never-ending list. I'm gonna check off a couple things every day. It helps my brain to stay focused, but sometimes it's just I gotta write for 10 minutes because there's a lot of crap going on in my brain. There's a lot of shoulds, there's a lot of stories, there's a lot of this person is mad at me,
Mhm.
there's a lot of, I have a new puppy right now and I'm not being a good enough dog parent. And
Mhm.
oh my gosh, I got sick again. And why did I catch a cold? And, there's just a lot of crap.
Totally.
And
Totally.
if you don't have a way to get it out, the mind body connection is going to say something is desperately wrong right now.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
for
So
me, that's good. But for someone else, like I know for you, I don't know if in moments like that, where you were just describing, I know you run.
true.
So
Mhm.
is that like a good tool for you, or what do you try to do in those
Yeah.
moments?
I mean, I think, for me, the running and the exercise is more my stress reduction, like, and I feel like it just clears it's my meditation too. It's like my time to think, my time to move it out of my body, and then I do feel more relaxed afterwards. So then it's like if I'm laying on the couch or sitting on the couch watching a show, I feel like, well, I did something today, which
Yeah.
might not be the point of it, but I think, but you brought up a really good point with like the body keeps the score. And
Yes.
I've been very curious about that. I've never read the book, but I want to.
We should read the book
We should
and
do it.
add a podcast episode on the
Yes.
book
Yes.
because yeah.
Because I think for me, I can work really hard and I can like compartmentalize and I can go, 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 and I can push myself. And I could be dealing with stressful things at home, with family, the world around us, right? And I can kind of like shut it off mentally,
Mm,
but my body doesn't shut it off. So then it catches up with me, and I
yeah.
have these kind of cyclical things where my body shuts down and I get sick for 24
Yep.
hours. And it's my body's way of saying you were either storing stress or you unprocessed things, or you were just pushing yourself too much and literally forces me to rest and recharge. So
Yeah,
it's
and I
really
think we
fascinating.
all have those things.
Yeah,
We all, for me, it's kind of like frequent colds,
right.
and it changes depending on how old we are, what stage of life we're in, and
Headaches, a lot of people get migraines,
yeah, insomnia.
Yep,
Our bodies were designed to sit around and eat berries and like play and gather and hunt and, raise kids, but in a tribe. And this day and age is completely not designed to support us. So I think at the end of the day, what we want the podcast to be about is you know, fusing the human experience, the individual experience with leadership because it's one and the same. Like work is life and life is work.
yep,
We, of course, can always work on work life balance and when am I doing too much? But, you know, we're always living. It's not like we just turn off and we're like, oh, okay, I'm done with work and now I get to exist. It just all
yeah.
fuses together.
Exactly, and I would hope that most of us, I know there's exceptions, but I would hope that who you are at home is who you are at work. It's not like, okay, Lindsay Zajac CEO can turn off and now Lindsay Zajac mom and wife can turn on. Like I'm the same person. I'm just playing different roles and in different environments, but I try to be my authentic self. I mean, there's certain you can let your guard down a little more at home, but I'm not like shape shifting into like work mode and then personal mode. It's like it's me. This is who I am.
This is who I
Um,
am.
and that so you carry that stress both ways. And if you're a perfectionist at work, guess what? You're probably a perfectionist at home. And the bathroom's never clean enough, and you can see the
No.
paint streaks. And we can't do this project until everything's perfectly planned out. And maybe you have a hard time making a decision, or maybe you don't want to get started with something because of that fear of perfectionism is holding you back.
Yes. And that was a perfect segue, I think, into self-awareness is going to be our next podcast episode. So really we're taking what we've learned and how we have more perfectionist tendencies, how society has really programmed productivity into us and kind of a feeling of not being good enough and understanding some of our triggers and how they're deeper insight into ourselves. Once we can know our triggers more, we're going to learn more about self awareness and how that guides us to be a more or less effective leader and a more influential leader.
Very well said. I totally agree. Self
So,
awareness is probably one of the best things you can learn and work on to improve in all aspects of your life.
yeah, I agree. And you and I love talking about it. We have a whole
Mhm.
presentation on it. We have resources on it. So we're going to dive more into that next time. But I think you know a little more about us. I think hopefully you're interested in what we have to say. We're going to have some great guests on. We're going to geek out more around self-help and leadership. And we also want to give you tips and tricks, hopefully, for the job market right now, and
Yes.
really just help everyone. So we're happy to be closing our episode today. We're excited to see you next time, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks for joining.
Thanks for joining.